Let's do cars in half kneeling. For today, I would say the best stuff that you could have on hand would be your 2 yoga blocks, having a stick of some sort, like a broomstick, or I think you had used a golf club last time, or maybe Emily did, which was really smart. And then having a kettlebell or like something heavy on standby this time is going to be good to have for one of the positions that we'll be using. So, and it doesn't have to be heavy, like 16 kilo or something like that. So, although I guess some people hear me say that and they think that's heavy. So, yeah. So let's rock and roll, man. We'll go into half kneeling. Let's have the right knee down, and then from here, let's start with the neck, moving to the right, so making circles to the right. And then we'll do basically everything, and then we'll switch to the other knee, probably about halfway through. So let's bring chin to chest, and look to your right armpit. Lean your right ear back to your right back pocket. Eyes up to the ceiling, over to the left. Down, chin to chest. Number 2. Same direction, still going to the right. Up to the ceiling. Over to the left. Down, chin to chest. Number 3. And down to center. If you have them nearby, you can grab your block or book or whatever the object is. Whoops. And just kind of give that a hug to your chest. And then we'll go to T-spine cars from here. So let's bring chest down to center, over towards the right, up and away from the floor, over and across to the left, down towards the left hip and to center. Number 2, same direction. Visualizing the clock face in front of you. Right now, bringing middle of your chest down to 6 o'clock. Number 3, one more, over to 3 o'clock, up to 12, over to 9, down to 6. Very good. Right arm, we'll go to the shoulder blade. So right hand at your side, lift your shoulder up, roll forward, drop down, pull back, shrug, roll forward, unshrug, roll back. One more, shrug, roll forward, unshrug, roll back, and now reverse, roll forward, shrug, roll back, unshrug, roll forward, shrug, roll back, unshrug. One more, forward, up, back, down. Very nice. I didn't say this at the beginning, but if you have a ball on hand, sometimes it's just nice for shoulder cars, elbow, and wrist, just to have something to give a little tension to. So you can grab that ball and take the right arm across the midline, coming up to overhead as bicep grazes the cheek. Turn the ball out and away from you. Internal rotation as you reach back behind you and come down to meet the hip. Ball should be pointing out in this position, and then reverse, reach straight back. Once you get stuck, start to twist that ball up to the ceiling, come to overhead, across the body, and down. Second rep. Big circles here. Trying to touch all the numbers on the clock that's directly next to your body. Very good. And number 3, just a light squeeze on the ball here. and reverse. Very good. Ball is facing forward. Let's bend the elbow. Now it's facing you. And let's extend the elbow. Turn the ball down. Flex the elbow. Ball towards you. Extend. Ball down. Flex. Ball towards you. One more. Extend. Ball down. Flex. Ball towards you. Now turn the ball away. And let's extend. Ball up. Flex. Ball away. Extend. Ball up. Flex. Ball away. One more. Extend. Ball up. Flex. Ball away. Next, let's do the wrist. So we've done this a few times where we kind of like press the forearm in. The ball is usually facing us. So this time, let's turn it away. Press your forearm in to keep your elbow bent really tight. And let's go through the wrist cars. So bring the ball down to the ground. In towards the thumb side. Over towards the shoulder. To the pinky side. And down. Try to keep that forearm from moving. Really tough to be strict here. And number 3. And reverse. If for some reason you're having trouble in this position, you could always stick your forearm on your thigh like this, palm down to the floor, and that'll help keep this arm a little more stationary. So now let's switch knees and we'll go to the other side. Starting at the neck. So chin down to chest, looking to the left, leaning the left ear back, eyes up to the ceiling, over to the right, down to center, number 2. Tough to balance today. And number 3. Excellent. Let's grab that block, T-spine cars again, just a little hug right into your chest. And block comes down to 6, over and up towards 9 o'clock, up to 12, over to 3, down and center to 6, number 2, up and over to 9, up to 12, down and over to 3, down center to 6, and last one. Very good. Shoulder blade next. Left hand at your side. Shrug shoulder up. Roll forward. Unshrug. Roll back. Shrug forward. Unshrug back. One more. Forward. Unshrug back. And then reverse. Forward. Shrug. Back. Down. Forward, shrug, back, down. One more, shrug, back, down. Piece of cake. Ball in the left hand, light squeeze. Arm comes across the midline. Bicep grazes the cheek. Now, when you come to the overhead position, generally your hand is going to be like pointed into your head, or maybe it's even like your palms almost pointed back behind you. So we want to untwist that when you get here. So you start to turn your palm in front of you, and then you turn it out and away from you. And once you can't turn anymore, that's where you're going to start to reach back. And keep turning in that direction until you come all the way down and the ball's facing out. Same when we go back, reverse. Now here, my palm's kind of like up to the ceiling or out and away from me. So start turning it in towards your body. And as you do, you can come out and around to finish. So those nuances are really what are going to make the biggest difference in all these cars is, are you really using rotation to try to find end range, or are you super focused on just drawing the circle? And either one is fine, depending on what you're trying to get out of it. But the rotational stuff is what'll make the biggest difference. Very good. Next, the elbow, palm facing you, elbow bent. Extend, turn the palm, flex, turn, extend, turn, flex, turn. One more, extend, turn, flex, turn. Now turn the ball away. Extend, turn, flex, turn, extend, turn, flex, turn, extend, turn, flex. Let's go ahead and use that modification on the wrist cars. Take your forearm, place the bottom of your forearm down on your thigh. Your wrist should be hanging off ever so slightly, ball down towards the floor. And then you can bring knuckles to the ground, over to the thumb side, knuckles up and away from the floor, over to pinky. 2 more in that counterclockwise direction. Really tough. And then reverse. Yeah, me too. Whew. It's crazy because a lot of folks don't do wrist cars, myself and Rachel included. Like, you just kind of get used to it. But almost everyone does them palm up. You turn that palm down, totally different story. But that's one of those things. It's like, if this is what you need to work, then may as well get to it. Let's go right knee down. Here you're going to want your stick. If you don't have a stick, like sticking your hand on a wall or a piece of furniture can be really helpful. So you're going to want support on the right side, and then we're going to work the left hip, left knee and left ankle, and then we'll switch and finish up on the other side. So when you're ready, we're going to go to hip cars. Let's lift the left knee, open the thigh, start to reach the foot back behind you, come down and around to meet the knee, and reverse. Foot and knee drive back, reach out to the side, scoop under, and come down in front. Let's go number 2. Knee lifts, thigh opens, foot reaches behind you, comes down and around to meet the knee, reverse, and down. I'm going to try one on the left, but I don't know if I'll have enough room. Knee comes up, opens, foot reaches back, and comes down to meet the knee, and reverse. Very good. Next, we'll go to the knee. Keep your hand on that support on the right side. Take your left hand and just lift your thigh up. And then let's swing your heel to the inside. Extend slightly, heel outside, bend, heel in, extend, heel out, bend. These are like the hardest ones in half kneeling. Extend, heel out, bend. Keep the heel out, extend, heel in, bend, heel out, extend, heel in, bend. Last one, heel out, extend, heel in, bend. Now grab the front of the shin and you can draw circles with your toes. 3 reps of ankle cars each side. Very good. Left knee goes down, right knee comes up. Support is on the left side, so either that piece of furniture, the wall, or your broomstick, whatever you've got. When you're ready, lift that right knee, open the thigh, reach the foot back behind you, come down to meet the knee, reverse, foot and knee drive back, thigh comes out, foot drops under and returns. Again, I'm just going to play with my other hand, see how it feels. Knee comes up, open, reach foot back behind you, come down to meet the knee, reverse. And number 2. Very good. So next, grab under your thigh with your right hand, swing your heel to the inside, extend, heel out, bend, heel in, extend, heel out, bend, heel in, extend, heel out, bend, and then reverse, heel stays out, extend, heel in, bend, heel out, extend, heel in, bend. Last one, out, extend, in, bend. Grab the shin, circles with the toes. Very nice. Excellent. All right. So what we're going to do is let's go from our kneeling position to quadruped, which will be a pretty simple transition. Take your hands, place them on the ground. So we're going to do a few things here. I'd like to first work on pales, rails contractions again in the wrist. It's just something that a lot of us really need, but it's difficult to either find time or to spend time doing it because it's really not that sexy, like doing 90-90 hip work, but super effective. So you could be in a couple positions here. You can be in quadruped like this, or you can kneel back like this and kind of bring your hands down by your shins. And this can be a really good position because you don't necessarily have to have so much weight to get the stretch feeling. So if you can kneel, I would try to do that. If kneeling like that is difficult for you, you can use quadruped and you're just going to have to shift your weight forward. So I'm going to use the kneeling position. And if you can get in kneeling, definitely recommend doing it. So we're in collapse, kneel. Take your hands down next to your calves, place them on the floor, and just lean forward until you start to feel a stretch. Now the other thing you can do, which is cool about the kneeling position, is if you just scoot your legs forward a little bit, it'll make that stretch even easier to find. So spread out your fingers, make your hands really, really big, really, really wide. Find that stretch feeling. And then let's just relax for a few breaths here. The stretch should be on the underside of your wrist. Kind of like where the doctor takes your pulse if they're doing it manually. Two more breaths. So let's get ready for pales, rails contractions. Keep that stretch feeling on the underside of the wrist. When you're ready, press your fingertips down and the ball of your palm, so like all the big knuckles, press those into the floor. And we're going to ramp up from 20% effort to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Relax the contraction. Just reposition that stretch if you need to. And then let's work up from 60. So press into the ground, 60% effort, 60 to 70, 80, 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push for 10. Underside of the forearm should start burning. 3, 2, 1. try to lift the fingers up off the floor and shift some weight forward to get into a deeper stretch position. 3, 2, 1. And again, push into the ground. Safest, greatest effort for 10. Keep that whole hand on the floor and push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And reverse contraction. Try to pull your forearm and the top of your hand closer to each other. See if you can feel the muscles on the top side of the wrist burning. 3, 2, 1. Next set, 3 of 4. Drive the fingertips and palm down into the floor. It's as if you're trying to bend your wrist. So 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Try to pull the knuckles towards the forearm. This is brutal, man. It's funny because sometimes I'll think this stuff through and I'm like, yeah, that'll be fine. And relax for just a moment. Keep that stretch feeling. If you can, shift your weight forward a little bit further. Take advantage of this range of motion that we're creating right now. So final set, big stretch on the hands. Make sure your elbows are locked and drive fingertips and palm through the floor as if you're trying to flick your wrist. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. And reverse. Squeeze top of the hand. Try to pull your forearm and your knuckles closer together. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Slowly work your way out. Now, I'm personally a fan of quadruped for this next drill versus the kneeling position. So you don't have to do this with balls, but I'm going to use 2 tennis balls. What we're going to do, actually this may not work from this position, but we'll see. So either whether you have balls or not, your hands are going to be on the ground. And what we're going to do is we're going to shift forward until you feel a stretch. Then I want you to squeeze your knuckles towards your forearm. And so these are passive range holds. So what's going to happen then is we're going to shift back until the bottom of your hand comes off the ground, and then you're just going to hold for like a 5 count. All right, so I'll demo this without the balls just so you can see. So it's essentially the same position we just did pails rails from. You come into the stretch, squeeze your knuckles towards your hand, and then shift your weight back until you can lift everything but the bottom of your palm off the floor. All right, I may actually do this without the ball because it does feel a little more effective that way. So when you're ready, we're going to do 5 of these. All right, so shift your weight forward, find the stretch. Now try to lift your hand off the floor. Keep trying to lift off the floor as you shift your weight back. And the moment that everything lifts up, all your fingertips and your palm, hold for 5. 3, 2, 1. Shift back. Find that stretch. Try to lift the palm off the floor. Keep trying to lift as you shift your weight back towards your heels. Once everything comes up, hold. 3, 2, 1. 3 to go. Shift your weight forward towards your hands. Find a stretch on the underside of the wrist. Start trying to lift the knuckles off the ground. Keep lifting as you shift your weight back. Then stop once everything comes off the floor. 3, 2, 1. 2 to go. I don't know why I picked this. Find the stretch. Try to lift the knuckles as you shift your weight back. Once everything comes off the ground, hold. Very good. All right, so 1 rep to go. Let's just highlight what's happening here and kind of what's showing up. So when you lean forward, this is your passive range. This is how flexible your wrists are. So let's go here. Now start contracting the moment that the hands come off the ground or the fingertips, that's your active range of motion. That's how strong you are versus how flexible you are. So if there's a big difference, let's say you can go all the way here and you can stretch out your wrist, but you can't lift your fingers off the ground till you're back here, that's a huge difference. And that's something that we want to work on. So very nice job. Next, we're going to go to the elbow. Elbow we're going to address from the quadruped position. What I want you guys to do, I'll turn forward here. So this is where your block and the stick are going to come in handy. So let's position the block in front of your left shoulder, and then you're going to have the stick over here. And you can grab the stick in your right hand. You want your right elbow and your right wrist to be on the ground. And then what we're going to do is position this stick on top of the block, which is going to give you a little stretch in the elbow, nothing too crazy. If that's too much, you can always use something else, like a book or something like that, but this is usually a good start. And then we'll do pails and rails from this position on both elbows. So again, block is on the left side, stick is in the right hand, palm is up towards the ceiling, and then one end of the stick is on top of this block. You can put your left arm really wherever you want. So we're going to start ramping up from here. What I want you to do is try to rotate the stick into the block. All right, so we're trying to take our pinky side of our wrist down and this side of the stick into the floor. So 20% effort, 30%, 40, 50, 60, hold for 3, and relax just a moment. Wonder, yeah, there we go. So if you're not getting enough of a stretch on the elbow, the further you scoot this stick towards the block, the lower it should keep your hand and the more intense this should be. So good little hack. So when you're ready, let's contract the stick into the block, 60%, ramping to 70, 80, 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push for 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to lift the stick off the block for 5. 3, 2, 1. Reverse, drive the stick into the block for 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to lift off of the block. 3, 2, 1. Final set, drive stick into the block for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and try to lift for 5. Really intense bicep contraction there. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whew, man, that is tough. All right, so we'll do passive range holds from this side. What I want you to do is you're gonna lift the stick up with your left hand. One thing that can help here is if you take your dowel or broomstick, whatever you've got, and you take it all the way so that you could put your thumb on the end. That's just gonna give you a lot more room to rotate. And so we can lift up on the stick, which is gonna give us a really intense range of motion. And then what you can do is pull the stick out of your hand and try to hold your hand in that position. Does that make sense? So this can be a tough one to feel, and then relax. So right thumb is on the end of the stick. You're gonna lift it up to give you more rotation, and then take the stick out of your hand and try to hold that position. 3, 2, 1. Stick in the hand, thumb is on the end. If you don't have a stick, you could just grab your hand, rotate it out so that your pinky comes up and away from the floor, and then just take your hand away and try to not let that hand move. It should feel really intense in the forearm if you're getting into the right spot. So let's go to the other side. Right block in front of the right shoulder. Left hand on the ground. And let's do kind of what we did before. Just leave a little bit of the end of the dowel coming out of the thumb side of your left hand, but then get the rest of this stick up on the block. This stuff has not been very fun so far. All right, let's do it. So let's start ramping up, driving the stick into the block. 20% effort to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. Hold for 3. And then relax for just a moment. And when you're ready, 60 to 70, driving stick into the block, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, and your safest, greatest effort for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to lift the dowel off the block. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Drive dowel into the block. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to lift the dowel off the block. And relax. And last one. Oh man, this is brutal on the bicep. This is one way of training your arms. When you're ready, drive dowel into the block. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And try to lift. 3, 2, 1. And relax. All right, so take that block away. Put your thumb on the end of the dowel. Again, if you don't have a stick, this can still be done just by like taking your right hand under your left hand and lifting up that pinky side. And it's almost as if you're trying to like twist your palm to point out. The stick is a great tool here, obviously, but it could still be done the exact same way without it. So if you've got the stick, take your thumb, stick it on the end, and then lift that stick up as high as you can, turning your left palm out as far as you can. Once you're there, take the stick away and try to prevent your hand from moving. 3, 2, 1. Grab hold of the stick again. Big rotation up. Then take the stick away and hold. 3, 2, 1. Last one. I'll demo without the stick on this one. Take your right hand, twist your left palm out as far as you can. Create tension. Take the right hand away. Try to keep that left hand from moving. Mine's shaking. Wow. And relax. Very nice. All right, so we're going to go to side lying and try to work some of the shoulder here. So this is where you're either going to need a block or the kettlebell is going to be really helpful for one of the drills that we'll do here. So to go to side lying from this position, let's see if we can go from kneeling to butterfly, and then we'll use butterfly to transfer to side lying. So if you collapse your kneel, you can take one leg out, scoop that foot under. We'll take the left foot under, which will get you into butterfly. Shift your weight forward and then scoot your right foot in so you can sit down behind it like so. And then from here, should be able to bring that right foot in to meet the left. Now to go from here to side lying, pick up that left foot, reach it straight out to the side as you shift weight to your right foot or right hip, and then drop the right arm down. And then we can kind of play with our position and fix things from here. So the first thing we'll do is pails rails on internal rotation of the shoulder that's down below. So what I want you to do is, if you look down at your right shoulder, you should be propped up on that elbow. Let's spin on the elbow. Spin the wrist in until you start to feel a stretch in your shoulder. So for me, it's at about like 80 degrees from if my arm is perfectly perpendicular. If I turn 80 degrees in, roughly, I start to feel a stretch. Now, it's important that you don't cave in here. You want to push into the ground and up and away from the floor. Now take that yoga block, and you're going to place the yoga block right on your wrist. And you might even be able to push into a bit of a deeper stretch. So I think what I'll do is, hopefully, it's obviously going to be hard for you guys to see because this block will be in the way, but we'll do the setup, we'll do a few reps, and then I'll rotate so you can see it some more. So again, inside lying, take that bottom arm, spin it in until you feel a stretch in the shoulder. Once you do, take that block and position it in front of your wrist, and you're going to need to hold it here. Now let's start pails rails contractions. Make a fist with your right hand. Yoga block is connected to the right wrist, not the hand. And now let's contract into the block. So you're trying to spin your arm back out, starting at 20% effort, 30, 40, 50, 60, and relax. Just reposition, make sure you've got a nice stretch here. When you're ready, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push against the block for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull your wrist away from the block. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you were able to get off the block, reposition the block in this new stretch. Set number 2, drive back of the wrist into the block for 10. It's hard to keep this block here. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull your wrist off that block. Further in. Final set. I'm going to try something here just real quick. I'm going to bring this kettlebell over and see what happens if I pin the block with the bell. A little more advanced, complex setup here, but might be more effective. All right, cool. When you're ready, same thing as before. Oh yeah, that's way better. Rotate into the block for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull that wrist off the block. 3, 2, 1. And relax. Very nice. Yeah, that was awesome. I've been wanting to try that position for a couple days. All right, so now we're going to go to the opposite side. So let's actually, this is a cool idea. Let's just take a moment here. We'll do some shoulder cars on the side that were not working just to give this arm a rest. So lay your head on that right arm, and let's go to the left arm, tennis ball if you want, and let's just do 2 reps of cars in this side lying position. Working your way around, because we definitely want to be strong enough that we can push ourselves away from the ground on this next round. So worth taking a little break, I think. And reverse. Very good. All right. So now let's come back up. You're propped up on the right. we're going to do the exact same thing, except it's the opposite direction. So now you're going to open your arm until you start to feel a stretch, probably on the front of the shoulder. I would do the same thing here. I like using the block to push into. It just feels a little bit better than the bell. But sticking your kettlebell or whatever your heavy object is in front of that block is going to help a lot, so that you have something to push against. And you could always use like a door frame or a piece of furniture to push against as well. So when you're ready, you should have that arm opened up so that you feel a stretch. Position the block and then position the weight so that that arm is locked in, and push away from the floor. Now, once you're here, let's start ramping. 20% into the block, 30, 40, 50, 60, and relax for a second. Just make sure you like where everything is. One good piece of advice I think for this position too is try to not turn down towards your arm. You got to keep your chest pointed forward, and just lifting your chest away might even give you more of a stretch too. So when you're ready, let's start driving into the block. 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push for 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to pull the wrist away from the block. 3, 2, 1. Drive into the block for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull away from the block. 3, 2, 1. And final set, drive into the block. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is brutal. And pull away from the block. 3, 2, 1. All right. Yeah, that was tough. All right. So to return to butterfly, take that right leg, kind of hike that knee up really high. You can sit up, and then this left leg, lift up, bend the knee, scoop the foot under, and then you're right where you need to be. Now, I'm going to demo this side from a different angle so that hopefully it's a little bit easier to see. So if we're in butterfly, transferring to left side lying, let's lift up that right foot, scoop the right foot under, stretch that right leg out straight, left elbow is down, and then you can reposition this left leg. So let me just get on the mat here, and hopefully this will work still. All right, so like we did before, let's take this arm that we're propped up on, turn it in until you start to feel a stretch. So you're sliding it along the floor in towards your hip. Once you feel that stretch, take the block, and if you have a kettlebell, position it in front of that block. If not, you're just going to have to hold the block on your own. Once you're locked into place, let's rotate into the block. So it's as if you're trying to spin on your elbow, and push into the block. 20% effort, 20 to 30, to 40, to 50, to 60, and relax for a moment. And start again. 60%, 70, 80, 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push for 10 into the block. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull the wrist away from the block. 3, 2, 1. and reverse, drive into the block. Safest, greatest effort for 10. And reverse, try to lift away from the block. 3, 2, 1. Reverse, back into the block, final set. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Reverse, try to pull the wrist away from the block. Very nice. Man, those are awesome. I've been searching for like a pretty accessible, we'll go ahead and we'll lay on this left hand and just do 2 reps of shoulder cars with the right real quick. I've been searching for a more accessible internal rotation position forever. And it seems like that might be the one. Now the question is like, how easy is that to set up against a piece of furniture or a door frame? I mean, like I said, you know, you could hold the block, but I found, as I'm sure you did, holding the block was really tough. All right, so final set here, which will be external rotation. So, same thing, propped up on the elbow. Open up the shoulder as much as you can until you start to feel a stretch, probably on the front side. Then take the block, position it in front of the wrist, and then get that kettlebell lined up. Now this arm is going nowhere. So again, as before, if you bring your chest up and point it away from your arm, should give you a much better stretch. When you're ready, let's start ramping, driving elbow into the block. 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60. Relax. And let's resume. 60 to 70, 80, 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push for 10. Try to knock that kettlebell over. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to pull away from the block. 3, 2, 1. If you can pull really far away from the block, shift it a little bit further and get the corner of the block like right into your wrist. When you're ready, next set, drive into the block. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse, try to pull the wrist off the block. 2, 1. Final set, drive into the block. 3, 2, 1, and reverse, pull away. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whew, very nice. All right. Yeah, nice job. All right, so last piece, we're gonna go from side lying into prone. So let's see how we can get here. Take your right leg. I'll demo this from where I'm at. Hold on one second. We're gonna finish with hovers here. So let me just get in a position that makes sense for you guys. So I'm in side lying. What you're gonna do, take this top leg, lift it up, bend the knee, bend the hip to bring the knee and line up with the bottom knee. From here, you can roll to kneeling. And then from this kneeling or quadruped position, we can go ahead and just lay down on the ground. And head is going to go to the ground. So let's do 2 drills from this position, both more related to capacity than anything else. Position these blocks. If you need them, you might not need them, but next to your ribs, or if the blocks are too intense, you can just go hands on the floor. And so what we'll be doing here is scapular retraction, so pulling the shoulder blades and the hands up from the floor, and then you're going to hinge at the elbow. So we'll do a set of 10, and then we'll take a little break and we'll do one more set of 10. So what's that? I'll show you. So this will be both arms together. So when you're ready, let's lift hands off the floor and extend at the elbow, bend, drop. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Lift, extend, bend, drop. 5 to go. Lift, extend, bend, drop, lift, extend, bend, drop. 3 to go. Lift, extend, bend, drop, lift, extend, bend, drop. Last one. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Whew. Brutal. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that with the block. But I'm going to try. We'll see. So what you want to do is figure out, like, where do my fists go, and then you can stick the block there once you know where that position is. It's going to be really tough. All right. So set number 2, final set here, when you're ready. And lift. Nope, can't do it. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Lift, extend, bend, drop. 3, extend, bend, drop. 4, extend, bend, drop. 5, extend, bend, drop. 5 to go. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Lift, extend, bend, drop. So just a couple more. One thing to note here, don't let your shoulders fall forward. Try to keep them down towards your butt, so you're pulling them back away from your head each time, which will just protect your neck. So 2 to go. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Last one. Lift, extend, bend, drop. Very nice. And there you have it. Nice job, man. Whew, that was really tough.